Welcome to Kon Unmuted. I'm the host, Kon. Today's guest is my neighbor, James, my good friend. He's
Best
he,
friend.
best friend. Let me correct that, best friend. So today, he decided to come join me. To kind of discuss, how we met and current event, whatever's going on in today's life and stuff like that. Um, James, introduce yourself to the show, man.
How's it going? My name is James. You know, um, I just want to point out, how much of a best friend I am. At some point, in our relationship, I made you a bracelet. Just want to make sure you remember that.
Oh man.
Um, but no, no. I'm actually from out here in Murrieta, originally from San
Nice.
Diego. But yeah, no. I just wanna thank you for letting me join you on this show as best friends. So
Nice. Yeah. I think we're gonna have to talk about this offline. I consider him my best friend, but we need to talk about this offline. I don't want to have too many friends, too many best friends. But no, you're right. The way I met you was kind of weird. There's a story behind it. Behind this, the first time I ever saw you was when we first bought the house. I was outside working, trying to clean my yard, make my yard look nice. I'm the new guy in the neighborhood, so I can't have my yard all messed up. So I was out there fixing my yard, and then I see this dude, right? This guy playing outside and riding kids' scooters. I started laughing. So I ran to the house. I'm like, babe, there's a guy riding kids' scooters. We need to leave. We need to sell the house now. She's like, what are you talking about? But no, that was the first time I ever saw you. And another time I was passing by and I waved. But the first time we actually talked, it was right at the beginning of COVID. And we
right,
met at Wayne's house, right?
right.
Yeah, that's where we met. Do you remember that day?
I do. I think we were, at least I was drinking some beers. I can't remember exactly what you were doing, but we did meet. Yeah, we met. I think that was actually the first, or I'm sorry, one of the last parties that like closed Murrieta down. Maybe
Yes,
I don't
sir.
think anything happened there, but I just think that may have been like the last one, and then the week after it was like COVID.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, that was the day. It was we were actually talking about even COVID at that party.
We
Yeah, I
were.
remember we were talking about that. And then it wasn't long after Marietta was closed and it got really, really bad with COVID and stuff
It
like
did.
that. But another story about that day was after we met you guys and we figured out you guys were only two houses down from our house. We get home and my wife was like, "Oh man, this is cool. We made new friends." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't know about the husband, man." I'm like, I'm like, the wife is cool, but I don't know about the husband.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
No,
funny.
what was your first
It
impression when you met me?
I thought like first of all, I was like, hey, this guy doesn't ride skateboards or scooters, so I thought that may be an issue. No, no. All jokes aside, I think it's like in life, I think there's times where you meet people and there's just that spark that happens, and I think naturally that just kind of we were drawn together. But yeah, I definitely I don't think there was any, definitely no negative thoughts by any means. It was just like, oh, okay. And then I think that just kind of blossomed into where we're at today.
Yeah, it's very true. I know. One thing that I want to say to people, probably, I don't know if your family member is gonna watch, you know, my YouTube channel, but one thing I want to say is this, and this is true. I have been places, I lived in different cities, different states in America, from Europe, Africa to here. One thing I want to say about you is that you are an example of the type of person that we need in this society. The reason being, we were not even that, we were friends, but we were not that great of friends. And you volunteered to come help me put sod in my backyard. And
I was just trying to get closer to the basketball hoop. That's all.
you're right. No, no, and what's even more great about that was that you came with your son.
Right,
That was
right.
like you know, that's what I'm talking about. You're a dad, you know, you helping out your neighbor, and you bring your son to help. You see what I'm
Right.
talking about? You're trying to show
Right.
your son how to be, you know, a neighbor, how to be a citizen of this country, how to be a good friend. And I really appreciate that, you know. Um my question is that something that you grew up doing, or it's something naturally who you are to lend hand?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's a mixture. I think that's just me personally, as an individual, but I also think that, or not. I think I know. Growing up, with my mom was big on helping people and just supporting wherever she could, whether she had the ability to, or I'm sorry, the resources to or not. That wasn't ever an excuse. So I
Yeah.
think it was just always kind of drilled in, organically. I don't even remember holding a conversation about it. I just think that that's what it was.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was something that I really thought that, you know, was amazing about you. You were ready, willing to help. I didn't even like ask you. You said, "Oh man, if you want to do this, I'll help you." I was just watching you do yours, and you came and
Right.
and you helped me. That was really cool. I really appreciate that about you. But there's one question that I have though. I mean,
Yeah.
naturally I'm, you know, I'm black, right? I'm from
Right.
Africa and stuff like that. But you, when someone look at you, either they can say, oh, he's you know, Latino, or he's black, you know. So
Right.
I just wanted to know, like, what do you get the most, what people think you are, and what, you know, you can tell the people, you know, what your race is.
Right. Well, I mean, I think first and foremost, I think, first thing I notice is they're constantly just at awe at my beauty, right? As a human
Your
being, in
handsomeness.
my handsomeness, everything. Um, that's first, I think. But second, I think I've noticed, like, growing up, I've always been, um, kind of, uh, the what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, they've always kind of casted me as whatever the majority is.
Yes.
I think here I've always been considered Hispanic of some sort. I think, or Latino. I think when I've been in, like, back east or the Midwest, I've been considered, Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Um, I've also been called Lebanese.
Okay.
I
Okay.
accept all. I accept all. But no, my mother's German and my dad's black.
You see, and it's true. That's what kind of attitude that I like about you, because you really don't care. As long as you can have a good conversation with someone, it doesn't matter who they think you are or where they think you're from, right? You just
Right.
want to have someone with who you can have a good conversation, you can hang out, and that's like the most important thing, right? Some people care about, you know, race, you know, and stuff like that, but you don't. And I really appreciate that
Right.
about you. But I do have a story about that, right?
Okay.
Growing up, in French, even in Europe, you know, French speaking country, when you mix, if when you mix white, Caucasian, and black, you are called métis in French, right? Métis.
Okay.
So
Matisse.
when I moved to America, I have never called a mixed person black in my entire life. I have never
Okay.
called a mixed person black. I always see a mixed person like black and white as métis. So I
Okay.
moved to America and I meet this guy, right? We play soccer together. Mom is from Congo and dad is from America. So dad is American and dad is white
Okay.
and mom is black. So we were having a conversation, right? And I was brand new in America, probably like a year or two in America. And we were having a conversation on the soccer field. And I was trying to point a good player to him. And he was like another mixed guy, right? And
Right.
then and the guy spoke French because his mom from Congo, so they spoke French, and he spoke really good French. So we were speaking in French, and I told him, "Mais regarde ce métis." He got so upset. My own guy, my own friend, got really mad that I called a mixed American guy métis.
Okay.
No, he turned around. He's like, oh, mais merde, il est noir. Il est noir, man. Il est noir. So he got pissed off that no, in America, you don't say métis, you say black. If he's mixed white and black, he's considered black, he's considered African American. So I didn't
Right.
know that. So like it's crazy. And he really got pissed off. But I try to explain to him, I'm like, I mean, the reality is where I'm from, you know, that's how it is. We don't call mixed people black. They are métis, right? So
Gotcha.
yeah, that was one of the story that I wanted to talk about. But there's something that I have to ask you. So
Right.
I see how you raise your kids. I'm really impressed.
Okay.
How you raise your kids. You're always trying to teach them right from wrong, good from bad, always helping out and stuff like that. So I really see that, and I think more people should do that. Right? I really more people should do that because in this society, like our kids, right? Our kids, they learn from us, right? It's what we
For
teach
sure.
them that they take and apply that in their own lives, either as a young kids or as adult, right? One thing that I always thought about is, I don't like using the term racism, but what do you think about implicit biasness? What does that mean to you?
Right. When I think about the term implicit biasness, I think of just kind of that you know, kind of lack of thought in the sense of they're just making decisions based off of, well, essentially making stereotypes and in some cases they're racial, and they're really just, I think there's kind of two groups. I think
Yes.
you have one group that, is ignorant to the fact of the moves and the comments they're making.
Yes.
um, I think both groups are doing that, but I think one group is doing it without any ill intent, but it
Yes.
still comes across wrong, right? Just
Yes.
kind of that, my way of kind of defining implicit biasness.
Yes.
But then also, I think there's another group of people that, when I thought about this term, I think there's another group of people that basically, um, it's ignorance, but it's it's blind. it's
Yes.
it's they're not seeking out to find out if there's anything they can learn or culturally just grow. And I
Yes.
think that's where I think we kind of have these two schools of thought.
Yes. No, no, you definitely right about that, because the reason I wanted to say that using the way you raise your kids is because I feel like implicit biasness sometimes start at a young age, right? It's what you see
Definitely.
from your
It's
adult
yep.
parents. It's what you see from your adult family members, right? It's what you see within your environment, right? If,
Definitely.
for
Definitely.
instance, if you grow up in an environment where someone is making these prejudiced, you know action toward some group of people, right?
Right.
You would think that, and you would think it's a normal thing to do, right? Like,
Definitely. Yeah.
speaking about, one stereotype that African Americans tend to leave their kids. They have kids and then they leave, right?
Right.
So if you are in an environment where that stereotype is being talked about, then you will take it and you will use it, right? Without even knowing that what you're doing is wrong, without even
Fair.
knowing what you're doing is bad. My view is a lot of people are not racist. My view, there's a majority of people are not racist. It's because
Fair.
they grew up in a way that they seen things done certain ways. They seen people act toward certain group of people certain ways, and they thought that was the normal thing to do, right?
Definitely. Definitely. I
That's the way I feel, and I have a perfect story about that. So, I mean, I was dating this girl in Minnesota, right? And she took me to her family gathering. So before I actually went to that gathering, I was really cool with her brothers. I was cool with her cousins, right? And then the first time, I will kind of say this. She's Caucasian, right? She was a white girl, and she took me to a family party, a family gathering. There was a lot of people, and I was the only black guy. You know, no
mhm.
kidding. It's Minnesota, so I was the only black guy. So I get there, and the grandpa. I never met the grandpa before, right? But he knew of me, right? He knew that his
Gotcha.
granddaughter was dating a black guy. So I get there, and right in front of the young guys from the family, like 18 to like 25 to 30, right? Right in front of them, he was talking bad about me. He was talking bad
Right.
about African Americans. He was talking bad about Africans, right? And he tells the girl, his granddaughter, my girlfriend, he tells her, are you sure he doesn't have a family in Africa? What the hell? So she tells her that, like, and she's like, "Hey, grandpa, no, don't say anything mean about him and stuff like that." And the other kids, you know, young adults, started laughing,
Right.
right? To
Right.
them, they're learning from their 80, 90-year-old grandpa saying this, and they would take it, right? They would take that as it's okay, right? It's a thing that happens, right? Africans that move from
Definitely.
Africa to America are mostly married with kids in Africa. That's the
Right. Right.
stereotype, right? And
Gotcha.
African Americans don't make good husbands because they leave their kids and their wives or girlfriend, right?
Right. Right.
Things like that. So that was an example where kind of implicit biasness kind of gets cultivated. I feel like it's kind of like an environment that you grow in. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
No, no, that's fair, and I think I hear you loud and clear, and I think one of the privileges I've had in life is um, being able to grow up in two different environments.
Yes.
although only an hour away, not something like yourself, across the globe, right?
That's
Um,
true.
but in some respect, I know I can't compare those two things, but an hour away can sometimes feel like you're across the globe, right?
That's true.
And it's interesting because coming from San Diego, I lived there through fifth grade. I'm sorry, yeah, pretty much through fifth grade, and then I came here right at the end of fifth grade, and right around the time, I think about my kids, right around the time that um, things start to change for us, right? Especially
Yeah.
males. You
Mm-hmm.
get into middle school, you're about to get, or I'm sorry, you're about to go into middle school. Um, things are changing at this point, and it was interesting because coming out here, it was a whole different environment, even different than what it is today. This is in 97. I think there may have been,
Okay.
70,000 people, 60,
Damn.
70,000 people in Murrieta. Now we're at what, 103, 109 or something like that. But being able to see both sides of what was going on in the environments definitely, not exposed tremendously. I don't want to make it sound that way, but seeing things in San Diego and then bringing them up here and realizing that the same things aren't happening, not better or worse, but just
Yes.
different, allowed me to kind of shift things. I'll be honest, and this is not this isn't really a great feat to speak on, but it's a fact. And I didn't see um, male figures
Yeah.
like fathers actually until in a household until I moved to Murrieta. Actually, I have a friend. I won't say the name on the podcast, but I have a friend
Yeah.
where I remember seeing their actual mom and their actual dad in the same
Yeah.
household, and that blew my mind because I mean, quite frankly, that was the first time, fifth, sixth grade, that I
Yeah.
saw that, and that changes, it changes things. But going back to what you originally were saying, the environment, I've realized that there's always opportunity to learn in these different environments as long as we stay open and we have the empathy, right?
Okay. Yeah. 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 You're right. You brought up a great point. I was actually about to segue to that empathy, right? Empathy today is really, really, really needed. It's one of the most important thing. Without empathy, we cannot understand the other person, right?
Right,
We cannot be ready, open minded to listen, right, and hear
right,
and
right,
sympathize with, our fellow, person and stuff like that. Like for instance,
right.
I'm gonna give you a good example. When I first moved to America back in 2006, if I'm not mistaken, um, every time I call back home, right, people wanted to hear about America. People didn't know much about America. They wanted me to share the experience about America. But I'll tell you the truth.
Right.
The past 4 years, the past 4 years, no one cared. Like no one cared about America from Togo, from Africa. Like when I
Gotcha.
called them,
Gotcha.
I'm like, I want to talk about America. It's like, yeah, you guys are just, you know, you guys just like have money, but you are literally just like us. I'm like, what do you
Gotcha.
mean? It's like, whatever's going on in America, and they tell me whatever's going on in America, it's like Africa. But it just happened that the majority of Americans, their parents, their ancestors left them, you know, a good country. Other than that, the mentality wise, they started to understand that, the whole empathy, the whole understanding each other, the whole, living together doesn't apply anymore because it kind of changed the way, they viewed America, which was supposed to be an example from them because we have the same issues. Like the civil wars that we have in Africa is
Hmm.
because we we don't understand each other, right? It's because
Hmm.
one group is saying that they're better than the other group, or one group is saying that they want to rule the country, right? But if we step back and then have empathy and then look at it. Oh, we all of us are just trying to live, right? This country
Right.
belongs to all of us, and we all just trying to make the best out of the country. Then that's when we
Right.
can come together and kind of create a great country, a great nation, and stuff, and stuff like that. But no, you're right. Empathy right now is one thing that we really, 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 really need. But I wanna change the topic a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since I known you, one of the craziest thing that I learned about you is you are a very, very hardworking person. You like working hard. You like working hard so much that you decided that it was a good idea to go work and not go to a prom. What's up with that, man?
Oh
What's
man.
up with that?
Uh no, that's fair. I think I think I my older brother, one of my older brothers, he was always big when I was a kid on the fact that, men have money in their pockets at
Yeah.
all times. So I took that very serious, right? And literal. And I think that once I was able to get a job, even before that I did things to make money, but overall, once I was able to get like my first W-2,
Yeah.
um, I was super excited about that. And so you're right. What ended up happening was it was not my prom. And so, going back to that handsome face, I
Yeah.
can't I can't help some things in life. Um, but no, all seriousness, basically what ended up happening was I took a shift
Yeah.
and bailed out on someone's prom. And do I feel bad for that? Yes, I do now. But at the time, money was uh, I was chasing money,
You were
chasing
chasing
dollars, but
money. That's true.
chasing money. I took and the worst part of the story when I think back on it is it wasn't even my shift. I took someone's shift so they could go do
That's even
whatever
worse,
they were gonna
man.
do. They probably were going to their prom, and I wanted to make sure they got to their prom.
Man, that's even worse. Okay, now that you have a chance, right? Don't
Yeah,
say their names, but
right.
apologize to them. Apologize.
Definitely. I definitely apologize because I feel that if I would have known what I know now back then, I think I would have realized. Not I think I know I would have realized that time is more valuable than money, right? I
It's
can't
true.
get that time back, but I can always get money back. But at the time, whew, I needed that money.
Oh, you needed the
It was
money.
it was it was a it was a solid 6.75 an hour. I
It was
needed
the
that.
hustle, man. You gotta make that buck. You got put something in the pocket. You're not a real
I
man
needed
until you have
something in the pocket.
that dollar bill
Not
in your pocket.
not a real dollar bills. You needed that money.
That's good. That's good. I want to ask you a question, man. Now that you know
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm the first African that you met that you've been friends with, but what do you know about Africa?
What do I know about Africa?
Yeah, what do you know
I
about
you know
Africa? It's a good question
I
to
don't.
ask.
It's a solid question. It's bad on my part. I don't know much, and I should know a lot more. Um, I I don't know a lot, and that's not a good thing.
Okay. Now, what I want to ask you is what I want to ask you is what do you want to know about Africa? Now that you have me.
What do I?
I
Right,
can
right,
give you some stories about Togo. I can talk about Togo, but now that you know an African from Togo, what do you want to
right,
know?
right. What would I like to know? I think when I think about what's happening here and just the state of the economy today,
Yes.
and I think about um, what's happening with growth in India, what's happening in growth in Africa, what's happening with growth in China, population size, resources that are in these different parts of the world. How do you think that shifts in from an economic standpoint in the next 50 years? That's kind of a big question, so I apologize, but
No, it's a good question. It's a loaded question. That's one thing that I like about you. You are more a business oriented person. You think business. You think future. If I want to classify you, right, I feel like you are a transformational leader, right? You are that type of
okay,
person that think about the future. You are that type of person that think about innovative ways, right, to 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 solve a problem or to foresee a future problem and then find a solution
gotcha.
to it before it actually happens. So I really like that about you. No, you're right. Right now, realistically, America is a red market, right? You know,
Right,
it's saturated, right? Um, Places like India, places like South America, places like Africa,
right,
right, are the new markets, right? If you
right,
take real estate, for instance, right, real estate in America, I mean, yeah, there's still space, right, to build. There's still,
right.
like buildings that need to be, fixed or whatever. But in Africa,
Definitely.
it's wide open. There's a good chance to actually like invest in properties over there. There's an opportunity to invest in manufacturing. There's opportunities to invest in transportation and stuff like that. Um,
Right.
the way Americans are seeking cheaper market in China, right? I think they should be going toward Africa, right? I understand the whole thing about civil war, right? There's
Right.
instability and stuff like that.
Right.
I
Right.
understand that, but majority of African countries are pretty stable and will stay stable because it's just an example like people like me, right? We leave the country. We go and seek, knowledge from other countries. And when we go back or when we talk to them, we're trying to bring that knowledge back to be able to
Gotcha.
rebuild Africa, to build Africa. And like you said, no, that's true. Um, in maybe 5 to 10 years, I think Africa will be a market where people will want to look at and invest a lot. You know, the 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 stories or the things that people watch on TV, documentaries, yes, they are true. Africa is a poor continent, right? We are very, very poor, but not all of it is true, right? There's hope for
Right.
Africa.
Right. Right.
There's hope for
Definitely.
Africa. There's opportunities in Africa. It's just that we just need people to understand that and take a chance on Africa, right? When people decide to do that, they will rip the reward. They will rip the benefit. Right now
Definitely.
in America, everyone is talking about how China is taking the world, right?
Hmm.
Do you know how China is doing that? Is because they're moving into places like Africa. America is willing to go fight wars in Africa, right? They're willing to help out, which we appreciate and love in Africa. But investing into Africa, giving people jobs, right? Giving people where to live will reduce poverty and then
Hmm.
it will eliminate the civil war.
Right. Right.
Most of the civil wars are happening because people don't have anything else to do, right? People don't have anything to do. If we have jobs in Africa, if people are willing to invest in Africa, yeah, there will be no war. I'm not saying there will be zero war, but it will,
Fair.
yeah. I mean, what do you think?
No, I think that's a valid point, and I think again, it's not even comparable. But kind of going back to coming from San Diego, coming to Murrieta, that's it's northeast, and
Yes.
the ability I remember as a kid, and this shaped kind of my mindset in a big way. Just watching, to your point, San Diego was kind of thinking about the United States, and the United States being San Diego, and
Yes.
Africa being the Inland Empire.
Yes.
Um, it's interesting because San Diego, everything's kind of developed. It's built, right? You could go a little bit further east, but for the most part, the real estate has been tapped into. Um, where you come to Murrieta in the 90s, and there's, you know, uh, barren land, and there's
Yes.
people, building. And I remember as a kid riding a bike or walking through with friends, playing paintball or something in a field, and
Yes.
I could take you to that very field right around the corner, and it's no field anymore, right?
No, it's houses.
So it's houses, and it gave me an appreciation of growth. It got me something that I'm into is like, it got me, not at that, I don't want to say at that age, but as I got
Yes.
older, that developed into looking at, you know um, economic forecast for communities.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, to your point, at some point we can't keep growing east, and you think we're only talking about one continent. What about these other ones that have the ability for growth, and maybe even at a faster rate in some respect,
Yes.
if they just have the proper resources,
Yes.
right?
No, no, you definitely right. And that's where Africa is right now. But you and I don't think we can solve Africa's problem today. So I don't think we could do that. But I just want to thank you for taking the time and coming and speaking with me today, share your
Definitely,
stories and kind of learning a little bit about Africa.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
we are at the end of our little our little talk here. I just want to give you the chance, the last word before we get out of here.
No, definitely. Thank you for this opportunity. I was, when you told me that you were, going to start a podcast, I was super excited. Um, and so I'm just thrilled that I was able to make it on there, or make it on here rather.
Yes.
Um, so no, I definitely appreciate it, and definitely appreciate your friendship.
Thank you, thank you. All I have to say is, you're gonna come on again. There's a lot of things that I didn't want to talk about. So I'll bring you on again so we can talk about that. But no, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you, trying to help me become famous. Yeah,
I mean, it's the face, right? I
yeah, it's the
mean,
face.
this could really push views. I'm
Right,
not
it's
gonna
it's the face
let's
and the
not ignore
beard
that.
and yeah.
Yes.
All right, man. Hey, it was nice talking to you, sharing a little bit. At least you got to hear my take on Africa and stuff like that. So, hey, thanks for coming on, and I will
Thank you.
see you in a little bit. I can just go outside and say and kind of wave right now. So I'll see
This
you.
is true.
Yeah, I'll see you in a little bit, right?
Definitely.
All right,
Definitely.
let's do this. All right, man.
All right.
It was nice talking to you. See you later.
Nice to talk to you.